Hello people, what is going on? John Julius coming at you here with another Waven video. But this is gonna be kind of my 1 week impressions with Waven, and obviously you guys know I've been having a lot of fun with it. If you guys can't tell, I've been putting out pretty kind of a Waven video each day. I might have missed a day or two here or there just because the lag's been pretty terrible, but apparently it's been addressed. Hopefully. It does feel a little bit better. But let's talk about Waven. Should you play Waven? Is it cool? Is it awesome? And should you drop Dofus for or Wakfu for Waven? So we'll talk about Waven here a little bit and kind of like how my impressions on it have changed throughout the course of playing it. I think I put in close to 40 hours into it, so a decent chunk. And I feel like I could speak to it. As you guys can see here, I've unlocked pretty much everything. I've dropped just fighting. I think I dropped most of everything pertaining to the seller here. So I definitely feel like, you know, I've been doing everything I can with the game. Like, I'm not missing out on anything I haven't experienced. But who knows? I mean, it's only been a week. I've unlocked Brakmar. I haven't been to Brakmar. And obviously I got a bunch of daily quests here. But let's get to the nitty gritty, guys. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Waven is an awesome game. It's an awesome game if you're looking for a very streamlined, straight to the point experience. Waven, and I want to drive this point home here, Waven is not an MMORPG. Let that sink in. Waven is not an MMORPG. If you're expecting this to be like Dofus, like Wakfu, something with a big open world, something where you're being engulfed into the world through like the professions, the economy, crafting, stuff like that. That stuff's not here, guys. This is not an MMO, which is a good thing and a bad thing. If you're expecting an MMO, you are going to be disappointed because the game is more far away from Dofus and Wakfu than Wakfu and Dofus are from each other. Those are MMOs. This is a turn-based RPG with multiplayer, and this is how I like to describe it. And I like to make the comparison to Diablo. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with the Diablo series. It's another, it's RPG, but Diablo is an action RPG. And much like Diablo, I wouldn't say Diablo is an MMO. Diablo is an action RPG with multiplayer. And this is what Waven is. It's an RPG set in the world of the cosmos of Ankama, turn-based with multiplayer. And again, I can make another comparison with Diablo, where like the way it's set up, even with the different scenarios, Waven does not have like a interconnected open world. Like, you're not running from one part of the map to another. In fact, Waven, it has isolated islands, much like Diablo has like those chapters. Here, let's go into an island over here. Let's go. Pig Island has pretty cool music. I think I went here yesterday and it was pretty cool. So much like Diablo, where it has like scenarios and chapters, and you can play through these single player. You can play. So far, I've experienced like a single player, and I've been having a lot of fun. So there's a lot of parallels with Diablo. Diablo, you can enjoy the game by itself. You can play through the campaign by yourself and enjoy it that way, get the drops and stuff like that. But obviously, if you bring in a friend, bring some other people, and that's gonna enhance your experience. Unlike in an MMO, where like the multiplayer and the social aspect, it's part of the fundamentals of the game and the game design. Waven, not so much. Waven, not so much. The multiplayer, it seems, from what I've seen, it's only been 1 week, it seems to be more optional. A lot of the content I've been tackling has been single player, like the questing, right? You go through these quests, and if you want a little bit more challenge, the more up the quest you go, the harder it gets. But at the same time, your character is keeping up with with the rise of difficulty, because the game is another thing that Waven has going for it. It's very accessible in making you feel very capable. Unlike Dofus, and I'm gonna speak more in regards to Dofus because I'm not much of a Whacker player. I played for a month. I think I got my team up to like level 80, but obviously I've been playing Dofus for years now, so I could speak to the game a little bit more. But unlike Dofus, right, when a new player comes into the game, the learning curve is humongous. It's huge, and it's why a lot of people, who try the game eventually fall off. Frustration is a word I would use, because when you come into the game like Dofus, it's a huge world. You're coming to the game, you're learning about the character, you're learning about the combat system, you're learning about your stats, you're learning about your equipment, you're learning about your element, you're learning, and that's just like the user experience. Let alone, you're also fighting against the world and Dofus. All right. You got to learn how to make combats. You got to learn how to craft. You got to learn how to make your gear, how to level up. All this stuff gets piled onto a new player when they come into Dofus, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Some people like that, some people don't. I'm a believer that the fundamental design of Dofus are outdated and archaic, and those design elements are outdated as to the audience who enjoys those games. I like to make another comparison to like Doom, right? First-person shooters. First-person shooters started out these like super fast-paced arena shooters. If you weren't good with reflexes, you sucked at these games. But eventually, arena shooters are not a big thing anymore. Yeah, sure, there's still an audience for like Quake, Unreal type games, but they became niche as opposed to like the main first-person shooter design that it would revolve around, right? Eventually, it evolved into something like Halo, right, where it was more narrative, more about set pieces, Call of Duty, those type games, right? But now those types of games, they kind of had to bow down. They had to step aside to games like Fortnite, right, which is kind of like this battle royale, which is kind of huge now, right? So game design changes over time, the audience changes over time, and I think Waven is a modern take on Dofus, and what it would look like if Dofus was made nowadays, especially with the advent of mobile gaming, short gaming sessions, monetization, stuff of that nature. So with that being said, Waven is more of a just jump in and play. The game it's very open-ended, and there's very little that you have to worry about. There's very little that you're fighting against that's preventing you from playing how you want to play, from having fun. If you guys saw my Waven basics intro, you're dropping a lot of this stuff. You're leveling. You're dropping all this. Like you don't have to worry about making the stuff. You don't have to worry about hunting the stuff. You don't have to worry about buying the stuff off the market, or rather off other players, right? There's no urgency of like leveling up or kind of just being strong. Is that the right? How I would say? There's no urgency of like levels are kind of a little bit of irrelevant, because the game has a nice curve where it's kind of like you're leveling up with the difficulty of the game. And again, this game is very single player focused. So it does have a lot of like let's see, how do I want to say this? It does have a lot of tools to make you as a player, as a single player, capable in fighting mobs, pretty much. And again, you can team up with other people and kind of enhance your experience, but it's not a must. And that's kind of been my impression so far. I don't know if that changes later on, but as you could tell from like the UI is kind of built here, I could raise my heroes levels up to like I could go back and do lower level stuff at my level 2. So there's a lot of scalability when it comes to this game. It scales very well with just one player. And again, this is I don't know if people are multi-accounting or playing on multiple devices. I don't know if people are doing that, but I don't feel the need to do that so far. I feel like I'm pretty capable in doing what I need to do on my own. And if I can't do something, it just means, I just got to go get a little bit stronger, and then I could come back and try things again. So with that being said, a lot of people are going to like this. A lot of people are going to enjoy this, because that's a lot of the points of contention people have with Dofus as an MMO. Those elements are not here. And that even extends to the PvP aspect of this game. If you just want to come in here and fight people, you could do that. You don't have to worry about the PvE content. You don't have to worry about grinding up your character, buying gear, stuff like that. No, like everything. If all you want to do is fight people, once you go through the tutorial, you unlock the Coliseum. You just jump right in there. Everything is unlocked from the get-go. If you go here into the deck editor, you even have like a dedicated PvP loadout. That's how streamlined this game is. Like the game wants you to just get in there and fight. And as I mentioned, like the game is straight to the point: loot, a build, and fight. That's pretty much the three things you're going to be doing here in Waven. Some people are going to find that boring, again, because they're expecting this to be an MMO. Some people are going to love this because it's simple, straight to the point, and it is streamlined. A big part of Waven here is just tinkering around with the screen here, tinkering around with different effects. I dropped a new spell. Oh, you know what? Let's go into my my water build. Like, okay, let's see. Let's put some of these new spells here. Okay, you know what? I want to throw in maybe this spell here. This is how flexible the game is. Like your character built, your character is dependent on how you build it, not on what's determined for it. Like in Dofus, right? You have a character. You can build it. Well, let's speak about Dofus such. You can build it one out of the 3 elements, right? Once you have to commit to one of those elements. And then you're pretty much set and you're locked to that unless you want to reset your stats. But here, there's nothing. You're not locked into anything, which is a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility when building your character. And again, it's gonna this leans heavily into just streamlining, kind of just about everything about the game. Of course, that's not to say it's perfect here from just the first week. It is early access. People are giving a lot of positive feedback on it, and I hope the developers are listening. But from what's here, like I can't wait to see how they expand out this game. And this is, I would say, a mobile game. It has a lot of elements of being just a streamlined mobile game. Again, it's evident with the premium currency, with the shop, with the battle pass, which I did pick up because I'm just having fun with the game. Like I didn't feel like I was being price gouged with this or anything. I think I mentioned I put in like 40 hours into this game already, and this is just me kind of just obviously making content and playing casually. But $15 is like, as nowadays, thanks to inflation, it's like lunch. So $15, I got like 40 hours out of it. Not too bad, considering that I could have got a brand new game for $70 and probably got like 20 hours out of it for like a PS5 game. So a lot of my time I did spend here tinkering around with this kind of screen here and just seeing what I come up with. Part of the reason why I started making content here daily for Waven is because I kind of wanted to go in here blind without looking at like people's like best build for seller, just look it up on YouTube. No, like I had fun just experimenting, which again, because you're not committed to anything. I suppose with like Dofus, right? People are constantly asking player guides, how do you build a craw? Because that game does make you feel like you got to commit, and if you do something wrong, right, you feel terrible. It's like, oh shoot, I messed up. How do I undo this? there is no messing up here in Waven, right? If it's like I could, I did reset my skills. I did mess with my spell loadout. It's like, okay, so when I reset my skills, it's like, oh, you know, this spell seems kind of boring, but it seems kind of like OP. It's like, okay, let me try the spell out. So I did reset my skills, and I tried it out, and I loved it. So it gives you that flexibility. It's very versatile in terms of building your character, and I mean, that's not a bad point at all. It's not a bad point at all. Another thing here, again, like I said, the world is very disjointed. That's because it's not an MMO. It's not an MMO. And as you can see here, a big part of it is like doing like these daily quests. And because it's not an MMO, and again, this is the point I want to drive home. Waven is best experienced in short bursts. Because of the gameplay loop, it's so minimal, it's so streamlined. If you play like an MMO, like if you're like playing this game like 10 hours a day, like you're gonna burn out on it pretty quickly. It is a mobile game, and it's meant to be it's best experience in short bursts. Like do your daily quests, you know, go do a dungeon and you know, drop some gear, mess with your character, and you know, pop out, go do something else, maybe come back a little bit later. But yeah, definitely don't play this game like you would play Dofus, because you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be super disappointed, because it really is a whole. It's a different type of game. It's a different type of game. It's, you know, Dofus, Wakfu, those are both. I would put them under the MMO category. This is not an MMO. Again, a big part of it here is looting. You know, just opening this chest, seeing what you get is kind of, oh, look at that. I'm still getting new stuff. And of course, you know, you do want to open a lot of these chests. You get chests from the battle pass. You get chests from doing quests, from fighting, doing challenges. So this is a big part too here, and obviously they're going to be adding more stuff, more crazy stuff to it. Pick one reward as well. I see heart aura. Oh, so this is like the Tiger Man. Alright, here, let's just open a couple more chests. Do we have any low level chests? Maybe I'll make a video where we open like a bunch of chests together. Look at that, we got giant chests, companion chests, so super cool. So this is a big part of it too. The looting part, that's what I said. The fighting part, obviously really fun. You know, you're not going out fighting like mobs on the map or anything. You're going through like this like UI. And let's talk about the dungeons. The dungeons, you know, it's just standard dungeon like you would do at on a game like Dofus and Wafu. You go through a series of room. There are little side quests in there. Depending on what chapter you're in, you can activate. See which one. Here, let's go to the vampire. I was able to team up with people, and that was fun. It was really fun. It was easy to streamline. Obviously, there's no like chat system here. You can't freely talk to people. I'm not sure why their reasoning is for that, but so the vampire boat. But usually I didn't have any trouble teaming up, you know, with people. Usually you would go up here and kind of like shoot off a message. I'm looking for a dungeon group, and usually somebody who's just standing here is gonna team up with you. Hey, look, there's like a little Ghostbuster. Peter Vatman. Oh, this is the first time I see this. I've never been up. And there's like little crystals here you can collect too. Little Easter egg hunts. And I think you can unlock emotes with those, and those are like scattered throughout the map. This is the first time we see that. I didn't. Here's another little crystal here. So even like you may even just like log in like one session. It's like, oh, you know what? Kind of feeling a little bit burnt out, a little rest. I'm gonna go hunt these like little crystals. Kind of explore the maps a little bit. There we go. See. And these crystals are inside the dungeon too, and some of these like side quests. So you gotta keep an eye out for those. Let's see, we found another one here. See, there's one up here. Rubomont. Rubomont. Is that a spoof on Belmont, maybe? Castlevania. But yeah, look at that. People enjoy looking cool. Again, a lot of the premium, the microtransactions here, so far, they all seem to be cosmetic stuff, which is a plus. Dungeon here. Was it not this one that I went through? Oh yeah, okay, so there are 3 chapters per dungeon. So I did chapter 1 by myself, and then I ran chapter 2 with some... No, I did chapter 1 and 2 with other people. And then number 3, I'm sure, it's level 31, I'm sure I could do that by myself. And again, multiplayer here, it's not a... Oh, let me make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am recording. It's not a necessity where like you feel like you need to cooperate with other people, which is again something people struggle with Dofus, which is kind of weird because it's an MMORPG, and playing with other people is kind of what makes it an MMORPG. But yeah, like I said, this is more of a game with multiplayer elements into it. It's not an MMO, and that's gonna be a big plus for people. Shout out to let me see here. Shout out to MVP. MVP on Twitter asked me. He's a big YouTuber for the PvP Dofus side, content creator. But yeah, he was interested in Waven. He asked me, like, where do you see the future in regards to Waven? It's going to be a big player base. Let me see if I can find what he said here. Okay, do you feel it has long-term potential? And I think I do. If you consider all this stuff I mentioned, where it removes a lot of the frustration, a lot of issues people have with Dofus in general. It's a different type of game, and it's going to be a different type of audience. It's going to be on mobile. It's a huge market. Crossplay, a big point people have is, playing I was going to say a big point of contention people have with Dofus Touch is like they can't play on PC. Which I agree to sometimes, to an extent. But also, I see why it's only on mobile. But yeah, so it's going to have that connectivity with people. It's going to be with you 24/7. If you have your phone, you're going to have access with it. That means there's people who are always going to be connected to it. Here's more little crystals over here. And yeah, I do see it long term. I do see it being popular. I do see Waven being around for like the next 10 years, definitely. There's so many ways. I mean, they could keep adding islands to it. They could keep. Obviously, there's only 5 classes in the game right now. I know Sacrier is a big fan favorite one that's not here. Quests, they could keep adding new spells, new equipment, new characteristics. There's so many ways they could spend. Obviously, they could keep adding battle passes, cosmetics, content, story elements, PvP. I definitely see PvP being huge because people don't have to deal with the barrier to entry for PvP is super low. The barrier to entry for this game is very low. It is free. It's easy to learn. It's easy to grasp. And yeah, overall, it's an awesome game. It looks pretty. It's pretty flashy, which is a big plus. If somebody sees this, if somebody sees gameplay footage of Waven, it's gonna catch people's attention. Here, let's go into a fight here. It's a beautiful game. Another little crystal up there. I like the. Here, let's go into level 31. Where did we leave off? Level 31 here. It percents well. The music here is kind of wild. It's kind of like hip hop music. First, okay, gotta finish the half. We'll stay here. But yeah, I do see this game being pretty big, And congratulations to the team at Ankama and to the people who worked on this. They put something really great and special together. Hit him over there. We'll stay here. So the question is, and how, obviously I've been talking about close to 30 minutes now, and I'll sign off with this. The question is, should you play Waven? Should you give Waven a shot? And really the answer to that is, if you're into, obviously if you're into like the Ankama games, if you're into the turn-based RPG stuff, if you're into card games, this is it has a lot of calls to like trading card games. And if you don't like MMOs, you should give it a shot. You should definitely give it a shot. It's free. It's free to play. It's free to just go in there. You don't lose anything in trying it out. In fact, you risk liking it. Let's see. Let's draw some cards here. See if we can get some owls, and we got some owls. Let's go here. Put that in there. We're gonna do this. No, we're gonna burst here. Oh, you guys get to see me pop off now. 3. So, oh yeah, we have enough. 3 there. Let's see. Yeah, we can pop off here. Actually, I haven't attacked, so we can attack. Okay, yeah. What was this? Oh, sorry, guys. I got distracted here. But yeah, you should definitely try the game. If you're expecting an MMO type of thing, you are going to be disappointed with Waven. You're going to think it's boring. You're going to be, there's not enough things to do here. You're gonna play through it and you're like, oh, that's it. Like you're gonna feel unsatisfied with Waven if you're expecting this to be like Dofus or Wakfu. Keep in mind, this is a different game with a different play style. It's a different game genre. It's different. It's different. So if you're expecting the same or something similar to Dofus, yeah, you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be put off by it. If you come in with the expectation that this is, this is a kind of like a modern, streamlined mobile, short session type of game, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it. If you enjoy building, tinkering, moving things around, making just new builds, making crazy stuff, a big part of the fun is was figuring out like this. We do that one. Figuring out this build, right? Seeing what works, what doesn't. The game, the game's not fighting you. The game does not fight you with giving you stuff. like a lot of these spells like already had accessible to me by like level like 10. You know, they might have not been like at level like 8 or 15, but I had all the tools available to me to play the way I want to play. As opposed with like Dofus, it's like, oh, I'm a Earth Craw. I just gotta invest in the Earth spells. I'm committed to Earth. I need to get Earth equipment. But if I want to do this and this and this, I gotta be level 50. But I gotta wait till like level 70 to craft this gear. But I need to drop like 50 of these resources. So I need to learn how to make money first, and I'm really terrible with that. So it's really hard. And look at all the hurdles I have to do just to like get to a point where like to accomplish something, and to get what I want to get out of the game. So all that stuff is gone here. This is not an MMO. I keep saying this, people. This is not an MMO. This is not MMO. So should you play it? Yes. Play it. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If you love it, hit me up. Leave a comment. Let's team up. Let's go fight some mobs. And yeah, so I'm gonna finish off this fight here, guys. And until next time, this has been Challenger EX. Take care of yourself and peace. I enjoyed the song too. Very groovy.